Eons ago, in the deep, forgotten dawn of time, the world was not ours. It belonged to the giants. Massive titans of stone, scale, and muscle walked the lands, swam the seas, and ruled the skies. They were creatures of unimaginable power, towering over the earth like living mountains. In that ancient era, every forest, every ocean, and every horizon was dominated by beings so mighty. Their strength shaped the very face of the planet. Millions of years ago, Earth belonged to giants. Creatures of unimaginable power ruled every corner of the world. Their roars shook the ground and their shadows stretched across entire continents, leaving no place untouched by their absolute dominance. The valley was unnervingly still. Usually, the forest was a cacophony of the hunted, the frantic rustle of brush and the high-pitched whistles of sentry birds. But as the king stepped into the clearing, the world held its breath. Even the wind seemed to die, afraid to stir the scent of his coming. He didn't hunt with the frantic energy of a scavenger. He moved with the heavy, rhythmic grace of an inevitable storm. His hide was scarred with the failed ambitions of challengers, a map of every creature that had tried to prove its strength and failed. But not all was chaos and thunder. Beneath the shadow of the Titans, a different world flourished. Life found its rhythm, thriving in perfect balance, flowing in deep harmony with the wind, the earth, and the sea. Every creature had its place, every season its purpose. It was an era of peace, where nature moved like a well-oiled machine, and the world breathed as one. The rivers flowed clear and pure, feeding vast green jungles that stretched endlessly to the horizon. The sun bathed the land in golden light, nurturing forests where trees touched the clouds. Predator and prey moved in an ancient, unbroken dance, ensuring that nothing was wasted and nothing was taken in greed. It was a golden age of serenity, where the world was wild, yet perfectly at peace. Beneath that vast and timeless sky, far beyond the horizon where the light faded into darkness, a shadow began to creep. It was not a beast, nor a storm, but something far more terrible and absolute. It moved silently, unseen and unheard, gathering strength in the void. The world was still sleeping in peace, unaware that the very ground beneath their feet was beginning to stir, and that the end of their golden age was already on its way. Deep within the earth, pressure built up like a sleeping giant waking. The ground began to groan, cracks appearing where there was once solid stone. Smoke rose from hidden places, dark and ominous, staining the blue sky. The planet itself was shifting, preparing to unleash a fury that would tear the world apart. Nature, in its ultimate power, was about to rewrite history, and nothing would ever be the same again. Far beyond the stars, drifting through the endless black of space, came a silent traveler. It was born from the cold void itself, a massive stone forged in the darkness of the cosmos. It moved with terrifying speed, silent and unstoppable, cutting through the atmosphere like a burning arrow. It had no eyes, no heart, and no mercy. Yet it carried the weight of fate, heading straight for the collision that would change destiny forever. It crossed the endless darkness, untouched by time or distance, a silent messenger of doom. No warning was given, no plea heard. It raced against the stars, growing larger and brighter with every passing second, tearing through the void with unstoppable force. It was not just a rock, it was the hand of fate itself, aiming directly for the world below, and there was nowhere to hide. Suddenly, the heavens ignited. The blue sky was torn apart, set ablaze by a blinding fire that streaked across the horizon. The sun was hidden by a wall of smoke and flame, turning day into an unnatural twilight. Below, the ground shook violently, cracking and heaving as if the world itself was breaking apart. The giants stopped, sensing the danger. The air grew thick and heavy. Deep within their bones, they knew something terrible was coming, and nothing would ever be safe again. Panic spread like wildfire. The great beasts roared in confusion, their massive forms stumbling as the ground rose and fell beneath them. Ash began to fall from above like dark snow, choking the air and blocking out the light. The harmony of nature was shattered. In that terrifying moment, every living thing understood the world as they knew it was ending, and there was no escape from the fury that had arrived. There was no time for alarms, no chance to flee, and nowhere to run. The sky was a wall of fire closing in fast, and the ground was already breaking apart. The ancient world held its breath, frozen in terror. They stood helpless, watching their doom approach with terrifying speed. The countdown had begun, and there were only seconds left before everything would be gone forever. Time seemed to freeze. The colossal beasts looked up, their ancient eyes wide with fear as the fire grew brighter and larger, swallowing the horizon. The wind howled, carrying the deafening roar of destruction. There was nowhere to hide, no cave deep enough, no mountain high enough. In that final heartbeat, all strength and power became meaningless as the world braced for the ultimate impact. In sheer terror, the mighty tried to flee, beating their massive wings or running with strides that shook the earth. They ran toward the mountains, toward the seas, anywhere the shadow of doom might not reach. But their strength, their size, and their power were nothing against the fate that had arrived. No matter how fast they moved, they could not outrun the fire falling from the sky. In the end, even giants are made of flesh and bone, and they cannot outrun extinction itself. The horizon was a wall of raging fire, advancing faster than any beast could run or fly. The very air turned into an oven, scorching everything in its path. One by one, the titans fell, their roars silenced by the thunder of collapse. The ground turned to glass, the oceans boiled, and the green world was buried beneath ash and rock. The age of monsters was over, crushed beneath the weight of destiny. In the blink of an eye, everything was erased. The impact shattered the land, sending shockwaves that circled the globe in mere seconds. Fire consumed the skies, darkness swallowed the light, and the ancient rhythm of life was silenced instantly. What took millions of years to build was destroyed in a heartbeat. The world as they knew it ceased to exist, and in its place rose a new, scarred reality, changed forever by the hand of fate. The skies turned black as night, choked by endless clouds of ash and dust that blocked out the sun completely. A freezing darkness fell over the entire planet, wrapping the world in an eternal winter. The lush jungles withered away, the mighty oceans grew still and cold, and the great rulers of the earth vanished without a trace. The golden age was gone, buried deep beneath the ruins, leaving only silence and memory behind. And so, the magnificent era of Titans drew its final breath. The age of giants was extinguished, consumed entirely by the searing flames of impact, swallowed by the suffocating darkness that followed, and sealed away by the heavy, absolute silence of death. The thunderous roars were gone, replaced by stillness. The mighty rulers who once shook the earth were no more, leaving behind only fossils, legends, and the cold truth that even the strongest must fall. For thousands of years, the silence remained absolute. The winds swept across wastelands of ash and stone, finding no life to greet them. The great bones lay half-buried, slowly turning to rock beneath the shifting sands. The world held its breath, locked in a deep, frozen slumber. It was a tomb for the mighty, a graveyard written in stone, where the legacy of the giants slept, waiting to be discovered. Where vibrant life once thundered, nothing remained but a vast, hollow void. The cities of stone and jungle were gone, replaced by gray desolation stretching endlessly in every direction. The winds blew empty and cold, whistling through the ruins without a sound to answer them. There was no movement, no heartbeat, no breath, just a terrifying stillness, a world stripped bare, holding only the heavy weight of absolute emptiness. Yet, deep within the cracks of the broken world and hidden away in the darkest corners, life refused to die completely. Tiny, fragile sparks began to stir, pushing through the ash and debris. Slowly, cautiously, green shoots broke the surface of the gray earth, and small forms moved once again in the silence. What was lost was not the end, but the beginning. From the very shadows of destruction, something new, something resilient, began to rise and reach for the light. Slowly, the gray veil of ash began to lift, allowing the warm sunlight to touch the scarred earth once more. Tiny green shoots pushed through the dust, brave and determined, while small creatures emerged from their hiding places, testing the wind. The world was healing itself, weaving new stories from the ruins. Nature, in its endless wisdom, was painting a future over the past, proving that even after the darkest night, life always finds a way to bloom again. Life is stubborn, and it always finds a way. Where there was once only death, seeds took root and grew into forests once more. Creatures small and humble began to change, adapting to the new world with cleverness and speed. They evolved, grew stronger, and learned new ways to survive. The chapter of the giants was closed, but nature turned the page, and with patience and time, the great story began all over again. Forests returned, stretching their green canopies wide to reclaim the land. Rivers ran clear again, carving new paths through the valleys. The small ones grew, their forms shifting and changing, filling the empty spaces with fresh energy and color. The world was different now, softer yet wilder, and it bloomed with a vitality that could not be stopped. The ruins of the past became the foundation of a new era, and the story of Earth continued, written in new blood and new life. Look around you, the cities, the forests, the very ground we walk upon. It all stands upon the grave of the mighty ones. The world you know today was not born by chance, but forged in the aftermath of their disappearance. Their extinction cleared the way, breaking the old order so that new life could rise and take dominion. We live in their legacy, inhabiting a world that was rebuilt entirely from the ashes of their end. And somewhere in the darkness, history may be waiting to repeat itself. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Don't forget to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with your friends. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and join the journey.